Let me blast off first and then we'll get into it, okay? Trump's late night 4th of July speech. Mallory McMorrow quits Senate run after smear campaign. Smear campaign fails. Trump's late night 4th of July speech. Did Trump remove Balogun? Red card. This is really important. Michigan absentee ballots can be fixed if if a McMallory voter wants to adjust their vote. I don't know if we should be telling people that, considering how many of them voted for Haley Stevens potentially, or considering how many of them would be wanting to maybe potentially vote for Haley Stevens. You know what I mean? Yeah. What happened in Hassan's world? I want that update. Nothing. I went to my mom's with my grandma, my grandpa, my brother, and my sister-in-law, and we just literally sat there. We sat there and we watched the fireworks, and Kaya too. And we sat there and we watched fireworks, and it's yeah, it was great. Was Kaya okay? Yeah, she was barking a little bit, but did you get bored? No AI songs played? Well, I sat there and I listened to the Trump speech because I'm a fucking patriot. So while my family was watching fireworks, lame, what I was doing was listening to my president, patriotic, right? Because I'm a patriot. They're not. I'm a patriot. You wearing out the suit every day look? What do you mean? I'm not wearing a suit today. What is it? I can't get anything. I get yelled at if I'm not wearing a suit. I get yelled at if I'm wearing a suit. What the hell is going on? Don't make me I will put the I'll put the gun show away. You guys keep talking shit. I will literally put the gun show away. No more guns. We will go back. I'll put the jacket back on. Okay? Right now, gun show. Frustrate me? No more gun show. Jacket's back on. It's over. It's gun control. I'm straight, so those threats don't work on me, which show chorizo, bro. That's crazy. Who's stronger right now? You or Will? I don't know. Probably Will. I've been fucking weak. I've been weak as hell. I got to get on TRT, man. I got to get on Reddit, True Tide, and I got to get on TRT. That's what I got to do. Half this chat wants you to jacket. You are old. It's true. I am old. Typical liberal threatening to take the guns away. I'm the first male victim of objectification. Like, that's it. Maverick Moore quits. All right. Reacts are back. Get in now. Twitch.tv/Hasanabi. Mandatory fun day. Okay. There it is. Would Twitch allow you to stream in a Speedo? Yes, but I'm not going to do that because I don't have the body fat percentage or the confidence to be able to pull that off. Secular Talk just posted, go watch the gun show. Did you watch already the Morg Pie clip from last week about how she thinks you're aging like fine wine? I did not. Come on, man. You should not be ashamed to show that dad bod. See, this is what I mean. There is the way you don't believe in yourself and you're obviously fun as fuck gives me confidence. I don't believe in myself. And it's normal. It's normal that I don't believe myself. What is this? Denims, I won my lawsuit against Ethan Klein. Not yet, but we'll watch it. That's cool that she made a video on it. She deserves it. We'll obviously talk about that too. You can't compete, brother.
The Trump administration believes this revived presidential.
Shut the fuck up. Really?
The Trump administration believes this revived presidential fitness test will fuel the Trump administration.
Fake news count again.
I've tried pull-ups in 4 months since I had my shoulder surgery. A little under 4 months. I'm gonna try it again. I hope nothing pops.
Oh, get him off of there. Why is he shaking like that? Oh, God. Scary. Apparently, Casey Tron got banned. Wait, why? Don't watch the Denims video. She wears a suit and completely mogged you in it. Sag. Dude, what the hell? Dude, watching this guy try to go through the motions of like what regular people do is so funny. Low-key impressive though, no? No, look at him. No wonder his shoulder popped. Also, come on, dude. That's like, I mean, I guess it's impressive that he can shake so much. That's a little bit of a half rep for sure. I've never seen anybody's shoulder shake like that. Like, genuinely. Like, I've never seen an entire body contort like this. I'm not sure why. This is, I saw while browsing Twitter. Okay, I have no idea why Casey Tron got banned. I don't know why you guys said it like she got banned for watching the Denims video because Denims was wearing a suit in it. Yes, I know. To learn who rules over you, simply find out who you are not allowed to criticize. I do think that it's not, the best. I do think it's not the best. What is this? Denims cooked you?
The fair use inquiry does not ask whether the criticism or parody of the copyrighted work is just or accurate or mean-spirited, but simply whether the use is of the kind that copyright is designed to protect. If I went on stream and I watched Hassan's broadcast and I said, his head is way too big and it bothers me, that would be a factually incorrect statement. That would be
what the fuck?
With fair use. You don't.
What, bro? This bullshit ass lawsuit was 300 pages of me eating dick and balls, and then she wins the fucking lawsuit, and then she redirects the enmity back. What the hell is going on? I can't catch a motherfucking break up in these parts, bro. Literally, the half of the lawsuit, which is so funny that, like, obviously we covered it here, so you are aware of this, and if you're in Denims' community, you're aware of this. But, like, the overwhelming majority of the content that Ethan and his, like, dumbass lawyer put together in this lawsuit was just, like, saying I'm Adolf Hitler or saying I'm the Grand Mufti and Snark is Adolf Hitler. I don't know. Everyone was Hitler in this lawsuit, which is supposed to be a copyright lawsuit. So I was already fucking eating mad dick on this lawsuit, and then she wins the lawsuit, and then she redirects it back at me.
Don't need to make statements that are accurate for them to be defended under fair use. Fair use is only asking whether or not you are creating a new product and transforming a work.
What is this? Now I can watch Hassan in 180p? Yeah, actually, you know what she was saying? I take it back. You know what she was saying? She was saying my head is perfectly sized for my body. It's actually not too big and it's not too small, right? Like, that's what she was saying, which is cool. You see what I mean? It's very cool. Anyway, we're obviously gonna get to Mallory McCuomo quitting. I can't be flexing too hard on this shit. I can't be flexing too hard because, like, obviously we don't want Mallory McMorrow to be like, these guys are all sexist. They, like, sexistly were upset that I called them terrorists. You know what I mean? That's just not how it works. Unfortunately, in this day and age, you just have to kind of eat it if someone calls you a terrorist. And then if they genuinely turn around and go, oh, you didn't appreciate me calling you a fucking terrorist and connecting you to an anti-Semitic hate crime attempt, well, guess what? Then you're a fucking misogynistic piece of shit. And then everyone on MS Now will sincerely advance that agenda. Like, they will genuinely be like, yeah, if you don't want to be called a terrorist as a Muslim man in the United States of America, well, if you have an issue with that, you're a fucking sexist piece of shit. You fucking Bernie, bro. You fucking Bernie, bro. That's literally what has happened these past couple of weeks. It's very cool. It's very cool that we're doing that. You're already getting some flack that your fans are shitting on her while you're begging to get an endorsement. It's already happening, sir. Yeah, I think people should be excited that I'm offering charity and grace and understanding to a person who literally lit her own campaign on fire by unironically engaging in rank Islamophobia. You know? I just don't think she's going to endorse Abdul, but it is what it is. Dude, you're a surrogate. Please be smarter. I'm not a surrogate. I'm an independent content creator. I'm not a surrogate. I'm an independent content creator. I have my own opinions. I have my own mentality. Okay. I have my own mindset. Not affiliated with the Democratic Socialists of America. Not affiliated with the Abdul campaign. Just a random guy. Okay. I don't know why you guys think I'm a surrogate. I'm not the father. I'm the father that stepped up. All right, we got the coveted Mitch voter endorsement, which is cool. Beef ended with Mitch voter. Okay, election Twitter is back on. I no longer have smoke for the autists, for the election Well, some of them I do have smoke for, because some of them. Some of the election Twitter, you know who I'm talking about, especially the ones in Europe. Some of them are such fucking weirdos. I don't understand. But Mitch voter is back on our good side, folks. Officially, it's official. We're burying the hatchet. We're burying the hatchet with Mitch voter. Okay? Love Mitch voter. Mitch voter is not from Michigan, so he can't even vote for Abdul al-Sayed, by the way, which I feel kind of fraudulent. Like I feel kind of lied to about that when I found out that he's from fucking New Jersey. At least he was doing work for Claire and Daria Liza's campaigns. He was door knocking for them, which I think is cool. But this motherfucker actually votes in New Jersey. Okay. So yeah, Mitch non-voter. More like. It's crazy. He went to school in Michigan, though. It doesn't matter. You're not a voter in Michigan. Change your name to Rutgers voter, okay? What gives? You know what I mean? Like, change your name to Rutgers voter, Mitch voter. You are not in Michigan any longer. You're in New Jersey. Yeah, change it to Scarlet Knight voter or some shit. What gives? So let's be real. It's a devastating day for girl power. Well, there's some girl power, girl boss victories here, but some major girl boss defeats and losses. Obviously, let's get started with Mallory McMorrow. So Mallory McMorrow, who's like a toy designer, toy car designer, and also real car designer at some point from California, moves to Michigan, decides she's going to run for Senate. And at first, she gets the Warren nod, she gets the Warren endorsement. And things are looking fine for her, I guess. Obviously, Abdul al-Sayed is like the true progressive, the true Bernie-crat in this race, comes out with a Bernie endorsement. And then he's running against the establishment machine behemoth that is Haley Stevens. Haley Stevens is the AIPAC stooge in this race. Millions, tens of millions of dollars that AIPAC and all these other outside, corporate PACs, super PACs are dumping at the behest of Haley Stevens. Pretty much everyone that understands politics knows exactly what this race is shaping out to be. But I was a little worried, partially because the race was a sleepy one for some weird reason, despite its national significance. This is a purple state. It went to Trump, even though on the same ballot, a CIA agent, a cookie cutter neoliberal, was still capable of defeating Mike Rogers. That's how bad Mike Rogers is. He's running again. His name is going to come up. He's running again now, this time against whoever wins the Democratic primary on August 4th, which I hope is going to be Abdul al-Sayed, our boy. Well, yeah. somewhere a couple months ago, Abdul Al-Sayed gives me a phone call. He says, Hassan, we've done a bunch of stuff together. You know, you've come to Dearborn. We've worked out together. You fundraised for me. I want you to stump with me. And I said, sure. I've never done that before, but it's probably not any different than, you know, doing a regular live stream, right? And boy, was I wrong. At that point, there's not a lot of attention on this race, but Abdul has the fundamentals, right? And I knew that if people started hearing about this guy, if they started hearing about what his policies were, what his background was, right? If they started seeing him more, they would love him. They would fall in love with this guy because he's a fantastic candidate, right? Rhodes Scholar, doctor, worked in public health, wrote a book about Medicare for All, ran on a pro Medicare for All gubernatorial run in 2018, right? So he's fantastic. He's got the solid fundamentals. He's a real fighter, right? And I knew that if the people of Michigan found out more about him, because the issue was his campaign and the race is not getting a lot of national attention. If people in Michigan found out more about him, they would love him. They would absolutely vote for him. Turns out that was the case. So when Abdul asked me to stump for him, I was like, sure, let's do it. Who gives a shit? And immediately I started getting phone calls. Adam Wren of Politico, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post. They're like, what are you doing? Can we get a comment? Can we get a comment? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Turns out stumping for a candidate and going and doing a rally for a candidate is a lot different in the eyes of mainstream media than fundraising for a candidate, having a candidate on your broadcast, asking them questions, asking them about policy questions. Because mainstream media finds that to be very different. They started attacking me. They started attacking Abdul. They were like, why is Hassan Piker, this dangerous, rabid anti-Semitic terrorist, coming to Michigan? Why is Abdul doing this? Third Way, which is responsible for the Democratic Party's neoliberalism for the last 3 to 4 decades, was very aggressively coming after Abdul, and they thought the best possible way to do this is by connecting Abdul to someone like myself, not dissimilar to what the Andrew Cuomo campaign had done. Andrew Cuomo, if you recall, in the last couple of months, or the last couple of weeks, rather, leading up to his failed mayoral election, decided to tune up the Islamophobia and attack Zohran Mamdani. Zohran Mamdani also is Muslim, right? And part of the ways that they were trying to terror jacket Zohran Mamdani was by connecting him to me. Hassan said America deserved 9/11. You won't disavow him. You won't disavow him. You won't criticize him. You won't attack him. You've been on his broadcast. You love him. He's your best friend. It didn't work. Zohran won that race because most voters did not give a shit. Most voters are like, I don't care. He wants fast and free buses. I like that. That's a good idea. He wants a rent freeze. I want that. That's a good idea. But of course, these guys are trying it again. And they tried it again. And it not only failed, but it actually ended up backfiring so spectacularly. Okay? Now, this is important because Mallory McMorrow at the time was trying to find the Goldilocks zone. She was endorsed by Warren. She was trying to say that she's a pragmatic progressive, that Abdul Al-Sayed is too pie in the sky. His ideas are maybe a little too radical. He's too Muslim. He's too invested in Medicare for all. You should vote for me instead. That's what people need. That's what the people of Michigan would vote for. And I think in that process, that triangulation caused her to lose fans on both sides. And her support from the progressive side, the Warrenites that actually do think Elizabeth Warren is like a far better candidate than Bernie Sanders. And there are still some people out there, right? Basically basically the progressive wing, the true progressive wing, saw Mallory McMorrow's attacks against me and against Abdul al-Sayed and realized that she's not going to be the true, anti-Israel candidate, that she's not going to be the true progressive candidate in this race. This kind of centrist triangulation does not work anymore. Okay? It doesn't work. Matt Bernstein interview was a turning point. Brother, it's the Matt Bernstein interview I'm sure helped. But I think if you've been in this community long enough, you've seen literally the turning point. Her campaign cratered straight up after the attacks. And she made a bunch of bad mistakes in the process. That was another big moment. This interview was a big moment, certainly. I think Emma and Matt did a fantastic job of trying to identify what was her. We were being pretty nice to her until then. Dog, we are marginal in this. Okay, you're silly. Us being mean to someone, you think that changes anything? Are you crazy? Get over yourself. I can certainly get over myself. Even if I am a part of this story, you should be able to get over yourself as well. No. Here's how it starts. The turning point is when she decides to slander Abdul and come after myself and be like, oh, Hassan's a terrorist. Hassan is like Nick Fuentes. And then she says, maybe he's not like Nick Fuentes, whatever, right? So that's when the turning point begins. Right after that, because she went with the third way. She went to Jewish Insider, an AIPAC propaganda piece, right? She went to the Jewish Insider and she gave a sit-down exclusive interview to Jewish Insider. Okay? That was huge. That was a huge mistake. Okay? That was mistake number one, perhaps the most devastating mistake that she made. Then she did the cringe video where she was dancing at the convention in Michigan, and people were like, ugh, this is lame, whatever. Okay? That was mistake number two. Mistake number three was when she decided to call into question Abdul al-Sayed's medical credentials on whether or not he should be able to call himself a doctor. And that was really interesting because I've never seen such bad instincts from a campaign in my life. First, doing the failed attack and saying like Abdul al-Sayed is like a terrorist because he's with another terrorist, a random fucking Twitch streamer no one gives a shit about. You all of a sudden look wishy-washy. You're not going to get the pro-Israel crowd on your side because you've already said stuff that's like somewhat critical of Israel. But then now you're losing the critical of Israel crowd as well because you're attacking a prominent critic of Israel all of a sudden, right? So that was a huge mistake. But then she doubled and tripled and quadrupled down on that mistake by then highlighting the salience of Dr. Abdul al-Sayed's medical credentials. It was the dumbest attack of all time. You could have called him like short or something, or that he couldn't grow a full enough beard, and that would have been a better attack than fucking coming after a guy who's a Rhodes Scholar and a public health professional in Detroit, saying, hey, I don't think you're credentialed enough. That motherfucker doesn't have one but two different degrees. Two. He's doctor times two. And you brought that up for no reason. It blew my mind. It's like saying, Dr. Abdul al-Sayed, can he bench press 3 plates? Actually, let's take a look. It's like, yeah, he can. Why did you bring that up? Now everybody knows he can definitely do that. Maybe a lot of people didn't know he could do that beforehand, but now they do. You brought this up. So that was a huge, huge part of this as well. And then she did this interview with Matt Bernstein and Emma Vigeland. And in that interview, it was very clear that she was like wishy-washy. But it was just a sequence of unbelievable mistakes, and she just could not hold it together. right? This is why her campaign fell apart. Because Mallory McMorrow could have been an unassuming, cookie-cutter progressive in any other race, in any other time frame. But she chose to run against a far more progressive candidate when people are looking for change candidates. Okay? She chose the perhaps worst time for people who triangulate their messaging. Right now, people are looking for moral conviction. They're looking for real fighters. And you, unfortunately, tried to constantly triangulate your messaging to find this Goldilocks zone. And that comes across as insincere, because it is insincere. At least with Haley Stevens, you know where she stands. Whoever's given her money is her master. Whether it be Israel, whether it be Big Pharma, whether it be these corporate PACs, that's who she will serve. With Mallory McMorrow, she tried to play both sides. And she hammered support from both sides. This is important. This is I'm not saying this is as someone who is biased in the direction of Abdul al-Sayed. I promise you. Okay? I promise you, this is not coming from a place of bias for Abdul. This is straightforward analysis that I would conduct on this race, whether I was, in the tank for Abdul or not. That's it. Well, you are, but let's pretend this is objective law. No. Of course I am. I'm not hiding that. I'm not hiding that at all. But I also can remove myself from the equation and explain to you why this failed. Okay, putting myself back into the story, it's easy for me to sit here and be like, come at the king, best not miss. Oh my God. Big dangerous moment for you, right? I could just make this all about myself. I'm not. I am talking about the way that this is perceived by normal people, because I know that most normal people don't know who the fuck I am. At most, maybe they know me as a guy who criticizes Israel. Okay? I know where I stand in the American political the American political arena. Her making this decision only shows exactly what kind of her deciding to do this, her deciding to attack someone like myself and Abdul and then be like, oh, you guys are terrorists. You guys are far too comfortable with terrorism. You're anti-Semitic. That what's more important for the voters and what's more important for my analysis there is that this is her decision-making process. That she made such a spectacularly stupid decision because, if anything, the people who know who I am are going to look at that and go, oh, you're fake, you're phony. And most people don't know who I am, and they're going to go, why the fuck are you talking about this? Wait a minute, did you just call this guy anti-Semitic? Let me look into his positions. Oh, that's right, he's anti-Israel, and that's why you're doing that. Fuck that. I've heard that many times over. I'm not supporting you. That's exactly what happened. Okay? Oh my God, I'm putting the suit back on. Everyone is going crazy. Everyone's going crazy. Oh man, rough day for the Mexico jersey. I'm La Raza, but we're playing against the best player in the world today. I don't give a fuck. All right. There it is. You did this. You did this. You did this, mijo. Mi gente. All right, gun control is back. All right, so do we have a playlist, by the way? Guns are holstered. You look like a golf cart salesman? Good. Okay, so apparently there's a New York Times article on this as well, of course. Mick Morrow suspends campaign. Senate bid in Democrats' heated Michigan primary. Let's listen
McMorrow
to it.
suspends Senate bid in Democrats' heated Michigan primary. This article is by Reed J. Epstein and read by an automated voice. Mallory McMorrow, the Democratic Michigan state senator who tried to cut a middle path between moderate and left-wing rivals, suspended her campaign for the U.S. Senate on Sunday, amid poor polling numbers and fundraising that did not keep pace with her two main rivals. Today, I'm announcing that I am suspending my campaign for United States Senate, Ms. McMorrow said in a video posted on social media. She thanked her volunteers, donors, and staff for their support. Ms. McMorrow's departure leaves Michigan's Democratic Senate primary a two-way contest between Representative Haley Stevens, a moderate, and Dr. Abdul El-Sayed, a progressive former public health official. Ms. Stevens is backed by Senator Chuck Schumer of New York and pro-Israel groups, while Dr. El-Sayed has endorsements from Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez
no Hasanabi mention. What the fuck?
Ms. McMorrow did not make an endorsement in her announcement Sunday, but said she would support whoever wins the primary. Ms. McMorrow's argument to Michigan voters was that they did not have to choose between Ms. Stevens, a four-term congresswoman with deep ties to the party establishment, and Dr. El-Sayed, whose left-wing views have made some Democrats nervous about his ability to win a general election. He lost the 2018 Democratic primary for governor to Gretchen Whitmer, who subsequently won two general elections by wide margins. We are being presented right now with what I believe is a false binary choice between the status quo in Haley Stevens and a candidate who has never won a campaign before, Ms. McMorrow said in a CNN interview last month. Michigan Republicans are set to nominate former Representative Mike Rogers, who narrowly lost the state's Senate race in 2024. The Senate seat is being vacated by Senator Gary Peters, a Democrat who is not seeking a third term. The primary is August 4th. Dr. El-Sayed praised Ms. McMorrow in a statement after her announcement. Senator McMorrow showed what it looks like to fight back against a politics that rigs the system against too many of us, he said. While we have policy disagreements, I never questioned whether Senator McMorrow would fight for a better America for my daughters and hers. Ms. Stevens also commended Ms. McMorrow. Mallory McMorrow has been an important voice, both in this race and in the state Senate, for policies that benefit Michigan's children and families, and I look forward to working with her in the future to build a stronger Michigan for everyone, she said. Holding Michigan's Senate seat is critical to Democratic hopes of winning control of the...
Okay, I'll just read the rest of it, whatever. Holding Michigan's Senate seat is critical to Democratic hopes of winning control of the chamber in November's midterm elections. The party must retain the Senate battleground it holds now and flip at least 4 Republican-held seats to seize a majority. Okay. Long adept at cable news interviews and creating viral moments online, Ms. McMorrow began to bleed support in public polling after she condemned Dr. El-Sayed for campaigning in March with Hassan Piker, the left-wing streamer who has defended Hamas and called Israel an apartheid state. Remember, whenever the New York Times used to quote me back in the day, they would say he has accused Israel of doing a genocide. Now they've moved on to he has called Israel an apartheid state in air quotes. This is a New York Times style guide decision. I'm not the only one who calls Israel an apartheid state. Every single humanitarian rights organization also calls Israel an apartheid state. So does the United Nations. So does the ICJ. And so does the ICC. So I'm not alone in this. You're making it seem like I just came up with it on my own. Okay? Objectively true. Objectively true analysis. Objectively true assessment. Anyway, the move backfired quickly. Her remarks helped burnish Dr. El-Sayed's claim that he was the lone progressive candidate in the race and the one most willing to criticize American funding of the Israeli military. And she won little support from moderate voters and millions of dollars of pro-Stephen advertising poured into the state from the American Israel Public Affairs Committee and other groups. 5 super PACs have spent a combined $32 million to back the congresswoman, including 2 groups tied to AIPAC. Yeah. You moved up from podcaster to streamer. Yes. So, at least they didn't call me controversial, I guess. They just said the left-wing streamer, so that's good. We're moving up in the world. But yeah, this is literally not only just in the paper of record, but this is true. Like, there were numerous pollsters, including Mitchell, a right-wing pollster, that ironically pointed to this decision that they made. Obviously, it's not because I'm a super popular person. I need you guys to understand something. When I bring this up, I'm not saying, oh, she came after me and I'm so goddamn popular that everyone in Michigan loves me and they were mad at her. That's not the point. That's not what happened. That's not the truth. Okay? I need you to understand that. That's not the truth. Okay? Her doing this, just like the New York Times is correctly pointing to, destroyed her credibility in the progressive side. Okay? That's it. Her positioning herself, her investment in trying to win both sides, trying to find the perfect Goldilocks zone of progressive, but not so progressive that it's scary. Okay? That made her look wishy-washy, inconsistent, and a politician at a time when people are not looking for politicians, they're looking for fighters. One big difference between the latest progressive edge candidates and ones in the past is that they're getting decent margins with black and Latino voters. McMorrow flopped for the same reason Warren and Pete did. Your base can't be fully white in the modern Democratic Party. I cannot believe this. Zaid Jilani with a correct take. I mean, he loves Abdul. So he actually does have decent analysis on the Abdul stuff. Zaid Jilani, I can't wait for him to make like 8 wrong takes about wokeness and culture warrior shit now after this one rare W. Zaid is pretty good. What do you mean? Yes, I don't mind Zaid's opinions. I just think that he is such a culture war obsessive. I hope he subtweets your ass. No, he doesn't. He also doesn't even reply to me usually when I will straight up reply to him. It's so funny because he is an anti-culture war warrior, right? He's always been that guy. And there's a couple of these guys that do not realize that they have become what they hate. Because they were low-key, somewhat on the correct side if their criticisms, just like mine, was that this hyper-focus on hollowed out idpol is silly, stupid, voters don't like it. That's correct. But these guys are so obsessed with it that they think anything and everything is hearkening back to the culture wars. And their hyper focus on hating idpol has turned them into the same culture war obsessives that they previously used to criticize. Unsurprisingly, Dana Nessel, Michigan Attorney General, has endorsed Democrat Haley Stevens for U.S. Senate. She is another pro-Israel person. Obviously, she very famously and very controversially tried to prosecute student demonstrators, if you recall. So that's not surprising to me at all. So you're going to see the dominoes fall. You're going to see a lot of people. You're going to see a lot of people that are in positions of power actively go and actively push for Haley Stevens because they're just unbelievably pro-Israel. She's the one who also smeared Rashida Tlaib. Yes, she's the one who lied about Rashida Tlaib. Shannon Watts, our favorite, endorsed Haley Stevens as well. Not surprising to anyone, obviously. Has Big Gretch weighed in? I hope she doesn't, because that's going to be a tough nut to crack. What gives? It's really going to be a righteousness versus piss real election? Yes. Big Gretch is super unpopular right now because of the data centers? Yeah. So, here's the thing. If Mama Gretch wants to win a little bit more shine as a relatively progressive governor, she probably will stay out of this election, or better yet, endorse Abdul El-Sayed. I don't think she's going to do that. Okay. I don't think she's going to do that. So the best we can hope for is that she doesn't endorse Haley Stevens. I just don't think any of these people, that are in positions of power that aren't true leftists, true left populists are going to do the right thing. I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised by McMorrow, by Big Gretch, but I certainly think that my expectation is that they'll rat fuck, and I'll be very pleasantly surprised if they don't rat fuck, and I would be unbelievably surprised if they turn around and actually endorse Abdul El-Sayed. That's my assessment. Okay? That's where I'm at. I don't think the main reason Mallory dropped in the polls was her attacking you or Abdul. I think running as a diet progressive was never going to work, especially without Bernie or AOC endorsements. So why would anyone vote for her over Abdul? No, the pivot point did come from the attack. Because she was doing all right. She was never endorsed by AOC, and neither was Abdul. But she was doing all right in the polls. She was actually pretty close to Abdul. She was actually beating Abdul. Abdul was in third place. Abdul El-Sayed was in third place in a relatively close race between Haley Stevens usually being in first place or sometimes Mallory McMorrow being in first place. It was a three-way statistical tie at best for Abdul, but he was literally in third place in every single one of those polls. Okay? And then Haley Stevens and Mallory McMorrow came out and pushed this line. Okay. Haley Stevens came out, or Mallory McMorrow first came out and pushed this line that Abdul was, unserious, dangerous, chumming it up with a radical terrorist. And that was when her campaign started collapsing. You can literally see it. Anyway, yeah, we saw this. This is from April. Senate poll showing McMorrow voters' second choice is 55% Stevens, 25% to Syed. But again, and I think, yeah, McMorrow has been a force in Michigan and seemed to have real camaraderie with Abdul El-Sayed early on. We'll see if that extends to now. No, there was reporting that centrist Dems in D.C. were pressuring her to drop out and endorse Stevens. And I think she just dropped out, but did not endorse Stevens. That might change. But yeah, that poll is the let's say the pre-Hasanabi Hex poll. At what point does the AIPAC machine move on from Stevens to focus on in the general? Is there really that much belief in Stevens? Right now, the AIPAC machine is not trying to get Stevens elected. Because the AIPAC machine doesn't care. The AIPAC doesn't care if Haley Stevens is the candidate or if it's Mike Rogers. They just want the pro-Israel person to win. So what they're doing right now is putting a quote-unquote progressive spin or a Democrat spin on the attacks. That's why they don't mind wasting away $30 million on the race for Haley Stevens. They just don't want Abdul to win the primary. But if Abdul wins the primary, then all of that money that they spent is not actually going to be a waste at all. One might think, oh, well, from AIPAC's position, they just backed the wrong horse, like Haley Stevens lost. That's not a waste at all from their perspective because they're agnostic to party affiliation. As a matter of fact, most of the major donors on AIPAC's side are actually right-wingers. They're like Trump voters. They're super right-wing, right? But they are right-wing, but they only care about one issue. They care about Israel. So the negative attack ads that they're positioning right now can be utilized by Mike Rogers in the general. And Mike Rogers can say, see, even Democrats didn't trust you. You should vote for me instead. It's not going to work because obviously people are unbelievably polarized and they hate Donald Trump. They want to punish Donald Trump. They want to hold Trump accountable. They know that the way to do that is by a Senate majority, which is why we're predicting a blue wave year. And it would have been a blue puddle if it wasn't for these fucking progressive candidates. I'm telling you that right now. I was very worried in the beginning of these primaries that this was going to be a blue puddle. I think it's going to be a blue wave because of the progressive candidates that have a tremendous amount of grassroots momentum and excitement behind them. Right? Big Gretch already said she won't endorse anyone in the Senate primaries, but that doesn't mean anything. That can change. Can you explain rat fucking? Dude, what? Rat fucking is just like trying to shank someone, okay? Trying to ruin someone's chances. How is that? Are you fucking serious? Like, you don't understand the simplest of all concepts? It's right there, man. Are you 12? Backstabbing, okay? Trying to ruin someone's run by coming out of left field, out of nowhere, and deciding to harm their chances. Elizabeth Warren staying in the race in 2020 when she knew she was going to lose her own state to Bernie Sanders in an effort to split the progressive lane was a rat fucking. Okay? That's what it was. Mallory McMorrow dropping out to solidify her support, however much of her support she can, to back Haley Stevens would be a rat fucking. Sometimes you guys can just Google things, okay? You don't have to ask me everything. I'm not your one-stop shop for Google. Yeah, Barack Obama calling all the centrist Dems in 2020 to solidify support as they saw Bernie Sanders rising through the primaries was a rat fucking. They all dropped out piece by piece and endorsed Joe Biden. Chill out, dog. What's your problem? Sorry. I'm a little tense. Yeah. Here is an American slang term for behind-the-scenes covert political sabotage or dirty tricks, particularly pertaining to elections. It was brought to public attention by Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein in All the President's Men in 1974, the book that chronicled their investigative reporting of the Watergate scandal. Okay? There's literally a Wikipedia page for it. That's why I said you can Google it. Anyway, I really do hope Elizabeth Warren backs Abdul al-Sayed. This will be very helpful. We're not Googling rat fucking, you idiot. No, it's not. How do I bake a cake? So how do I bake a cake? Okay, fine. Take 5 minutes. Yes, rat fucking has a very specific meaning to politics. But yeah.
It's not that crazy, or not as crazy as Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson wants you to think it is. That is the message in a new ad running throughout this July 4th weekend from the Progressive Change Campaign Committee. It is a political action committee that identifies itself as a million-member.
Yeah, the Progressive Change, the PCCC also is low-key a rat fucker. Adam Green actually was a big Warrenite, a big Warren endorser. They also cooked Bernie at the time, and now they're kind of taking credit over the DSA plank, the DSA policy platform, to make it seem as though, you know, Mike Johnson is talking about PCCC. It's fine because they have a lot of money. So I'm not that frustrated by it unless they use that money faucet against us. Okay?
Grassroots organization building progressive power at the local level, at the state level, and at federal levels. Watch this.
They put this on paper. They're saying the quiet things out loud. Abolish the Electoral College.
Damn straight.
Replace the two-party system with a multi-party democracy.
Yep.
Expand the House of Representatives.
That's right.
Establish public ownership of the largest corporations and essential industries to ensure democratic control and accountability to the people.
Hell yeah.
Y'all, it goes on and on and on.
So it's interesting, like I said, because like all three of the candidates that they use on this are DSA. They're DSA cadre candidates too. Like that's what's so well, I guess Maylot really isn't, but she's or is she? I don't know how long Maylot was in the Democratic Socialists of America, but regardless, doesn't matter.
Those people you just saw, Chris Rabb and Claire Valdez and Melot Kiros were the ones in that clip. All three are progressive.
I know she's DSA, chatters. I know Melot is DSA. I just meant, like, is she... Melot was endorsed by DSA National more than Daria Lisa Avila Chevalier. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're all DSA. They're all
we had Kiros on
straight
the show,
up DSA candidates.
last week, and all three just won their primaries. Their point? That these are not crazy ideas. They are winning messages.
She's been around, but she's not cadre. Like Claire Valdez is longtime DSA. Zora Mamdani is longtime DSA. There's a difference. There's difference between like a cadre candidate versus someone who is a member who is a candidate versus someone who is endorsed by the DSA. For some of the local DSA chapters, they don't even demand that you be a member to get endorsed. They don't even demand you be a socialist to get endorsed. Some chapters like San Francisco won't endorse anyone unless they are at least openly a socialist or running as a socialist, which I don't think is bad. I mean, these are different strokes for different folks.
Like Melot Kiros told me on this program last weekend. These ideas are resonating with people.
Yeah, cadre is someone whose main organizing home is DSA versus someone who became a member via other organizing and then got endorsed. Yes.
And while centrist Democratic candidates are also winning their primaries, the progressives and even the Democratic socialists, they're having a moment. It is undeniable. That is why a whole lot of eyes are on Michigan right now to see what happens in the Democratic Senate primary there.
What do you mean by cadre? We already explained it. Someone whose main organizing home has been the Democratic Socialists of America, someone who's actually run as a DSA candidate in like a local position, someone who's been there for a much longer time.
The field is made up of...
And yes, DSA can endorse a non-socialist. Yes, and sometimes they do. Are people just fucking with me today? Now they're just like, can you Google, can someone Google cadre, please? Can you explain to us? Can you explain to chat what rat fucking is again? There's just... What is happening? Is this ChatGPT time? Is that what it is? What the fuck's going on? No, you're just being baited more than usual. That's what's going on, isn't it? That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm getting cooked right now. I'm getting cooked.
Congresswoman Haley Stevens, State Senator Mallory McMorrow, and Abdul El Sayed, a former Wayne County health official. This is a hot race, hotly contested, and it has the Democratic Party split there. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and other moderate Democrats have backed Haley Stevenson. You might have seen that Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just gave a boost to Abdul El Sayed, who already has the backing of Bernie Sanders. And Abdul El Sayed joins me now, fresh off of that AOC endorsement. He is running in Michigan's Democratic Senate primary. Welcome to the show.
I guess this interview was before McMorrow dropped out.
Jacob, thanks for having me.
Shout out to Liz Smith with another banger campaign. Look, I don't want to say what I want to say about that. I just think that some of these people have bad instincts, okay? They have great connections with a lot of mainstream media outlets. They can put their candidates in those outlets and get them favorable coverage, but they're just not very good as political operators. And Liz Smith is one of those people. Like, she's big Pete Buttigieg booster. She's got her fingers in the James Tallarico pile right now, and I'm definitely worried about that. Okay. Neera Tanden is another one that's just like it's just not good. It's just not, oh God. And these people fucking hate me too. I don't want them to hate me. I just want them to stop getting in the way. Okay. I want them to stop getting in the way of progress. Like, maybe they legitimately believe that their worldview is the smart adult choice, or maybe they're just backed by corporate entities, and that's the reason why they just like constantly get their candidates to run in this like very weird, very careful way that comes across as insincere for many voters. But it's just, come on, please. We can't. I want to defeat the Republican Party. I want to defeat Republicans. I want to make sure that No one ever wants to vote for a Republican ever again. Okay.
It's good to have you here. I think everybody knows Michigan is not New York, and it's not Denver even. What makes you confident that you can win not only this primary, but the critical election come November?
Jacob, I kicked off this campaign back in April of 2025. Since then, I've done 450 public events across 110 different cities. I could be in a living room in Lansing. I can be in a town hall in Detroit, a church in Escanaba, a VFW hall in Manistee. No matter where I go, people say the same thing. It just shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be this hard to afford my groceries. Shouldn't be this hard to pay my rent or believe I could ever own a home. Shouldn't be this hard to see a doctor. Shouldn't be this hard to pay my taxes and know that that money is going to be spent on me or my kids instead of dropping bombs on somebody else and their kids. That is the same frustration I think we're hearing echoing up and down the country right now. And they want politicians who aren't focused more on the direction of a political party and focused more on whether or not they're going to be able to afford their lives. That is true in Michigan. It's true in Colorado. It's true in New York. And I think we're seeing a lot of movement right now because politicians that are actually paying attention to the lives of the constituents they want to serve are succeeding.
Yeah, that they are. And you just picked up this endorsement from, as I mentioned, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It's her first time in this primary cycle weighing in to a contested Senate election. What's your hope that her endorsement will do for you?
Well, this is somebody who's been leading at the forefront of the fight to get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, and pass Medicare for all. That is what I'm running to do here in Michigan. Given her leadership as a strong, capable leader and the fact that she has established what it looks like for a generation to talk through and connect across a number of different generations. What she represents, I think, is true to the ideals that Michiganders want to see and also what is expressed. She's speaking to the frustrations that I'm hearing up and down my state. And so we're trying to build a movement where we get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, pass Medicare for all. A lot of people want to say, oh, is this far left or where does this stand on some ideological spectrum? But most Michiganders aren't asking about an ideological spectrum. They're asking, how am I going to afford gas to get to work? And is that job going to be there for me tomorrow and tomorrow again? Can I get health care if I get sick? And the answer, unfortunately, for too many people is no. And we're leading a movement to try and address that by getting money out of politics so our politics can finally be of the people, by the people, and for the people again.
We're seeing one of the first negative ads come out against you, and this happened in Colorado, too. I talked to Mila Kuros about this last weekend. This ad is from the United Democracy Project. It's a Washington, D.C.-based group that is aligned with AIPAC, and it accuses you of, quote, I want to make sure I get this right, a long history of disrespecting women. But the Detroit Free Press calls the accusations unpersuasive. What's your response to this ad that's airing on Michigan Airwaves right now?
You know, when they can't beat you on the fundamentals, they don't want to have a policy debate. What they do is they attack your character. I know what my leadership has been for folks across our state. You know, I've been in public service here for 10 years. People know my record. But the big question here is, why does an organization that wants to send our money abroad to go and drop bombs on women and children, to back a genocidal foreign government, why are they attacking me? Well, because they know that I want to keep our money here to invest in women's health here and childcare here. And they know that they can't beat us on the fundamentals of the debate. They know that their position is fundamentally unpopular, but they have tens of millions of dollars to spend. They've already spent $30 million in this race to beat me. They realized that they couldn't beat me by just pushing up their chosen candidate, and so now they're trying to attack my character. But Michiganders know better. They know who I am. I've been in public service here for a while, and my work has been about serving women and children, and so
we'll never support any candidate who proudly campaigns with Hassan Piker ever. Dude, that's so crazy to me. You are cattle. You have cucked yourself for no reason. I don't understand how you make a decision off of a fucking Twitch streamer like this. I like, so funny that these people are just positioning themselves in this way for no reason. You don't have to make an enemy out of me. You don't have to bring me up at all. You don't have to openly admit that your motivation here is a deep desire to hate on a fucking Twitch streamer. It's so stupid. I don't understand it. I would never be like, I will never support any candidate who proudly campaigns with Shannon Watts. You know what I mean? Like that's, you want to know why I would never say that? Because it's fucking stupid. That's a stupid thing to say. Why wouldn't you simply support candidates that agree with your worldview? If a candidate campaigns with you and care about the policies. Bro, she worked at Monsanto and health insurance companies and she wasn't doing political activism. It's odd. It's not odd she hates you. It's pro-corporate consistency. Her worldview doesn't align with yours. I know, dude. I know that. Okay? I know that already. I'm saying how stupid it is for her to like identify this as a way to you know, come across like as a serious person. Do you not get it? I know why. I know why she feels the way that she does. I'm just saying, like, it's a dumb thing to openly admit. It immediately betrays whatever kind of like sincere policy position that you might have had, or your presentation is diminished. Your position of authority as a sincere political activist is immediately diminished. These people are the hutches of the political world, but the reality is she is the problem. These people are the hutches of the political world. I agree. It's just kind of crazy that they are like leaning into this as though there is a robust political constituency here. There is none. This admission basically might get you some likes on Twitter because there's also like equally brain poisoned weirdos on this platform. But in the real world, if you were running around and being like, this guy is no good, this fucking Twitch streamer, if you were door knocking in Michigan and you were like, hey, I just want you to know this guy Abdul El Sayed, he's no good. Don't worry about his policies. He's no good because he's campaigning with a fucking Twitch streamer. They'd be like, get the fuck off my porch. I don't care. The fuck are you talking about, man? What kind of baby brain nonsense is this? Put the fucking policies in the bag. Am I crazy for this take? I feel like it's just it's the simplest take of all time. Are there some weaknesses on DSA or DSA adjacent candidates are running their campaign? How do you fix it? If you said this about Kamala, they would attack you for it. It would make more sense. Kamala Harris is not a random fucking Twitch streamer. Kamala Harris was the vice president. Like, I wouldn't say that regardless. But do you understand? Like, at least she's in a position of power, right? That's why I'm saying it's dumb. You were proven right when they tried it to DA. What a lot of these guys also don't understand is like, I'll be honest, regardless of how much I've been like shaking things up, there is a very high likelihood that I will probably go back to the DNC in 2028. Okay. So I don't know how, like, I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know what they think is going to happen. Like, I'm not going to fucking go away. Okay. There's a very high likelihood that not only will I go back to the DNC, but there's a very high likelihood that the candidate that I want to run for president will be running for president. Okay. So I don't know if you have the capacity to understand where things are going in American politics or not. But, you know, if you want a longer track record, a proven and tested track record, you should probably stop making these idiotic decisions. Tomorrow made a press release against Haley Stevens like last month. Yeah, I think I will see. Yeah, DSA officially has over 120,000 members, by the way. Congratulations to the Democratic Socialists of America. Yes, of course, Dana Nessel endorsed Haley Stevens. She's a fucking pro-Israel stooge herself. Why does she deserve this much attention? Is she a significant person? No, but I think she's she's not. She's utterly irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. However, she's very relevant because she is a placeholder for a specific type of Democratic Party consultant. So when I'm actually like criticizing Shannon Watts, when I'm complaining about her, I'm not just talking about Shannon Watts. I'm talking about like a lot of these paid consultants that try to present themselves as like total independent thinkers who are unbiased and making the best decisions or whatever. They don't have real constituencies, but the constituencies that they have are the most important because they have the ear of candidates. They have the ear of other consultants, right? And unfortunately, these are the guys that still make or break elections for the most part, at least the ones that we can't touch, the ones that we're not involved in. Do you see what I mean? Lesson learned. The Elizabeth Warren progressive but not that progressive lane is dead end almost everywhere in the country. Also, declaring war on Hassan Piker is a terrible idea in a Democratic primary. There are very few places where a Warren Dem can outpace the Bernie economic populace in a primary. Very wealthy, white, college-educated areas with disproportionate number of post-grad degrees. That's pretty much it. Anyway, let's see what Mallory's take was as she announced that she's dropping out of the race.
Today, I'm announcing that I am suspending my campaign for United States Senate. And I'm doing it with a deep, deep sense of gratitude for our thousands of volunteers, for everyone who donated what you could, building a campaign with zero corporate PAC dollars, for my staff who built this team up from nothing. I thank you. For my family, for Ray, who believed in me long before I ever believed in myself, and for Noah, our 5-year-old who presses her hands up against the window to wave goodbye every morning when I leave for work. Remember, Mom, she reminded me recently, it's not about if you win. It's about trying hard and having fun. She's right. So I want to be very clear about what this announcement is not. I may be suspending this campaign, but I am not leaving the fight. I never planned on politics. After the 2016 election, I felt lost. I picked up my phone and I typed 5 words into the search bar. How to run for office.
I'm going to be honest. I would have expected Haley Stevens to be like, Hassan Piker is a terrorist. It did come as a surprise to me when she came out and said that. Because my frustration with her was that she's like a Connie Chen, right? Like I would be fine, or a Daniel Biss. And I think a lot of people were also making that calculation as well. Like I thought, Daniel Biss is a guy that I don't think is going to be bad. He's not the most progressive guy, but he is far from the worst person in the makeup of the Democratic Party's House of Representatives talent field, right? Like Daniel Biss will be a relatively progressive. Daniel Biss is going to be a relatively progressive representative. Okay, he is for sure. He's going to be inoffensive. He's going to be good at times, and sometimes we're going to be annoyed with him, right? I thought Mallory McMorrow was of the same crop. I thought Mallory McMorrow was basically like a J Street liberal style person, right? Someone who will probably, when push comes to shove, still be a Pinot, but not this much of a, will not engage in certain things. Yeah, Biss is good people. He's running that Warren lane specifically because Evanston is exactly that overrepresented post-grad educated demographic you're talking about. He's more based than he lets on. References 2018 governor campaign. His 2018 governor campaign was highly critical of Israel at a time when no one was, but also literally dropped his DSA lieutenant governor because Israel got mad at him. So that's what I mean. Biss never attacked you? No, he never did. Like there's varying degrees of this sort of somewhat progressive, like moderate progressive lane where you have the Daniel Biss, you have the Connie Chen, and then you have Mallory McMorrow. And Mallory McMorrow, unlike Connie Chen, even though Connie Chen also called me a racist, said I was an anti-Asian racist, whatever, it doesn't really matter. At least Connie Chen wasn't stupid enough to literally turn around and be like, oh, this guy's an anti-Semite. Okay? Because I feel like if she were to do that, then one, it's wrong. Okay? But also, two, it would have made her look like she's pro-Israel. And she was smart enough to not make that mistake. Mallory McMorrow, on the other hand, I think leaned far too much into her consultants instead of just like endorsing her own position, her own moral convictions, her own values, her own worldview, and channeling whatever that might be. She came across as too calculated, too manicured, and too wishy-washy, insincere. That's the problem.
And here's what I learned. When regular people get in the fight, things can change. In my very first election, we flipped a district against the incumbent. 4 years later, with so many of you, we flipped the Michigan Senate for the first time in nearly 40 years. And we didn't stop at winning. We repealed Michigan's abortion ban. We raised wages. We made sure every child gets breakfast and lunch at school. We made it easier to go to college. We expanded civil rights, voting rights, and so much more. These wins took thousands of us, showing up every single day, refusing to give up when there were setbacks. That's why I'm staying in this fight, and why I need you to stay in it with me. Now, I haven't been shy about calling for new leadership and a better Democratic Party.
Look, I just turned on Twitter and immediately, dogs of Israel, bark! Bark for me! Look at these fucking dogs. Okay? Immediately, American Enterprise Institute twink, former American Enterprise Institute twink, Syrian, the one that was like Mr. Regime Change. He's like the number one defender of like he was one of the primary people that immediately said I was like pro Bashar al-Assad. I never was. Okay. And everyone ate that shit up. They don't even know that this guy's from a right-wing pro-war think tank, American Enterprise Institute. Okay. Within minutes, Hassan fans dunking on McMahon while Hassan himself simultaneously begs her to endorse Abdul. Great encapsulation of this race. The Michigan primary is about to get even nastier as Abdul El-Sayed fans double down on their misogyny. Nasty little fucking perverts, dude. Nasty motherfuckers. Oh my God. You guys are poisonous. You're poison to the democratic process. You're poison to progress. I am so fucking annoyed with these people. God damn it, dude. And they, win or lose, they still chirp. Okay? Look, another one of these guys. Mason McCann. This sucks because she was easily my favorite candidate this cycle and would have been an S-tier senator. Unfortunately, she got caught between moderate with tens of millions of dollars and a Bernie-back sloppulist who both squeezed her out. I hope she succeeds elsewhere. I can't begin to explain to you how much I fucking despise these people because these people have electoral autism, right? Like they care about elections more than most other people do. I also have that same style of autism as you guys already know, right? We're here day in, day out covering elections. Whether people are invested in them or not, it doesn't matter. Okay? But they have that electoral autism and they're wrong. And they're just fucking wrong. Like, how do you not realize, like, oh, well, this was a S-tier candidate. Okay, if she was an S-tier candidate, why the fuck's she dropping out right now? If she's an S-tier candidate, why do the voters not see what you saw? Perhaps you don't understand what candidates are good as you previously thought you did. I hate this annoying ass weaponization of hollowed out identity politics that only seems to go in one direction, just the left flank. Republicans will do this to centrist Democrats. Centrist Democrats will do this to their left flank. It's so fucking annoying. Okay? We have to do away with this nonsense. It's the same Bernie bro shit. Okay? Remember the Bernie bros? Bernie bros are so toxic. Bernie bros are so toxic. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You do this because you have no fucking policies. I hate it. It's so fucking annoying. And most voters hate it too.
I mean it. The energy is there. People are crying out for change. And we owe it to them to listen. Then we need to build it up together from the ground up. So here's what we do next. Every day through November 3rd, we win this Senate seat. And we send Mike Rogers back to Florida for good. Whoever wins this primary on August 4th will have my full support. Then let's elect Jocelyn Benson as our next governor.
I mean, I think this is somewhat of a fuck you to the Haley Stevens side. because like the expectation from the centrists is probably for her to fall on her sword and solidify support behind Haley Stevens, right? Like that's what the establishment Democrats wanted. Centrist Democrats were demanding that she drop out. Anyway.
Let's flip the state house and expand our majority in the state Senate. Let's elect Democrats up and down the ticket and show the rest of the country what it means to fight like Michigan. 10 years ago, I started this work heartbroken, typing 5 words into a search bar. And I learned the only thing that has ever really changed this country: ordinary people who love something enough to fight for it. I love this country. I love Michigan. And I love the little girl who waves at me from the window every morning, trusting the grown-ups to leave her a state and a country worth inheriting. That's who I'm fighting for. And I'm not going anywhere. I hope that you'll join me. Today,
she has a nice Germanic jaw. Olivia Wilde tier. Olivia Reingold tier too. Will be fascinating to see who she endorses. Elizabeth Warren will be pushing hard for Abdul. The consulting class and Dem establishment in Washington would be pushing hard for Stevens. Would not be surprised to see Warren campaign for Abdul in Michigan this month regardless. Yeah, I hope Elizabeth Warren comes out swinging. You're obsessed with her? Olivia Reingold? Yeah. Here's what Abdul said. I don't think it's gonna look. You can't be hating on Mallory McMorrow unless she endorses Haley Stevens, at which point then it's like perfectly valid, obviously. Well, you can't be hating on Mallory McMorrow if I'm not hating on her. And she's the one who literally called me, Nick Fuentes equivalent dangerous figure in American politics at a time when the fucking Trump administration is actively coming after me. So, we want her supporters to support Abdul, okay? Have a little bit more tact.
Here, I just learned that Senator McMorrow has decided to suspend her campaign. I just want to say to her, her family, everybody involved in that campaign, her supporters, thank you for the work that you did for democracy. Our democracy runs on people putting in that kind of effort. None of a question, despite our policy differences, whether or not Senator McMorrow would show up to fight for my daughters and hers. But the question to all of us now is this: are we willing to allow AIPAC, big corporations, Chuck Schumer, to show up and rig our democracy, to choose who our Democratic nominee is going to be? They spent $30 million to drown her out. Now they're spending millions to attack me. This is all in an effort to cherry pick from Washington, D.C. or New York who gets to be the Democratic nominee for Senate from Michigan. I think we get that choice. So I'm asking everybody who supported her to support us now. Our movement is one of joy about the future we can have when we get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, pass Medicare for all. And for all the folks who've been with us all along, thank you for everything. But right now is the time to double down. So if you haven't made that contribution yet, this is the time. If you haven't done that shift that you've been thinking about doing, now is the time. It is us, the UAW, Bernie Sanders, AOC, the nurses, working families, against the oligarchs, big corporations, AIPAC, Chuck Schumer. We know we can win, but we need you.
Yeah. Abdul is classy. Noted. The voters seem split on who to support now, but I see a few more for Abdul so far. Abdul El-Sayed, class act. Abdul El-Sayed, you're such a class act. We're sending you straight to Washington. Abdul El-Sayed, very classy. You have my vote all along. We need you. Abdul El-Sayed, if you should win the primary, you will earn my vote if Mallory becomes your running mate, if she'd be willing. I guess I'm a Mallory supporter for Abdul El-Sayed. Let's do this. This is a shocker. We've been following the Mallory McMorrow campaign for some time. Like, it's crazy that Mallory McMorrow literally was like, Abdul El-Sayed is a dangerous terrorist, and her fans are just like, yeah, we like him. We like him a lot. This has to be a banned Hasanabi Gray name. Abdul El-Sayed received standing ovation. I'll be voting for Haley Stevens. Okay, dude. I don't know why you found this random fucking comment. I was planning to vote for you, but now I'm going to go with El Sayed. First message in the chat. Might be off topic, but dog, you made me laugh so much I yell out to myself, Turby Durden, biggest donor. Am a numbers guy randomly throughout the day. Biggest donor. Yep. Stevens and Abdul have a debate in 2 days. Haley Stevens and Abdul El-Sayed are set to debate on Wood TV 8 on Tuesday, July 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hashtag Michigan Senate. We'll be looking forward to it, and I will be watching it live. What gives? Anyway. We got a long road ahead of us. What I expect to see at the debate? Biggest donor. What gives? Damn. It's not loading. It's not loading. What the hell? What the hell? Why is it not loading? Maybe it's a sign. Yeah, whatever. Wisconsin poll just dropped. Fragmentum is real. Oh, nice. Nice. Wisconsin governor Democratic primary poll shows Francesca Hong at 30, Mandela Barnes at 28, Sarah Rodriguez at 19%, others at undecided at 23%. Let's keep pushing. Did you see that Bad Empanada is lying about Block the Bombs Act? No, and I don't care. Why would I care about that, chatter? Come on. Come on now. New York Times confirms the corruption. News. Trump called Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, on Wednesday and asked him to review the Fuller and Balogun suspension on Sunday. FIFA said Balogun could play. Oh my God. You're accomplishing your political goals? What is this? No, stop sending me. I have purposely avoided the Abdul Al-Sayed video on this fucking broadcast. I don't want to. Please stop. Please stop. Okay? You're cooking my ass. Isn't Balogun a birthright citizen? Yeah, it doesn't matter, big dog. They fuck with the birthright citizens heavy when they're winning, you know? Trump's statement. Donald Trump on Fuller and Balogun red card case. Thank you, FIFA, for doing what was right and reversing a great injustice. Dude, it's incredible that they're just straight up openly admitting it. I don't know what to say. It's just fuck it, I guess. I mean, what did you expect? Yeah. Hold on. I have to order something. Biggest donor. Red card. Yeah, you get a red card now, bitch. Red card drama. All right, let's get into the red card drama. Hold on. So Balogun received a red card. And the New York Times reported on it. President Trump called Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, unbelievably corrupt. Okay. And he called him on Wednesday and asked him to review the suspension of the United States top goal scorer, Fuller and Balogun, after he was given a red card in the team's match that night against Bosnia and Herzegovina, according to three people familiar with the conversation. On Sunday, FIFA announced that Mr. Balogun would be eligible to play Monday against Belgium after his red card ban was suspended. This reversal is highly unusual and the first time since 1962 that FIFA has allowed a player to appear in a game when they would have been suspended. It also comes as Mr. Infantino has spent years trying to curry favor with Mr. Trump. Last year, FIFA created and gave Mr. Trump the FIFA Peace Prize amid the president's public but failed campaign to win the Nobel Peace Prize. FIFA did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Pascal Van Dam, the president of the Belgian Federation, did not reply to a message seeking comment. Proper corruption at play here, finally becoming a real football nation. That's right, America's becoming a real footy nation. Today, I feel corrupt. Today, I feel American. Today, I feel gay. Today, I feel like a migrant worker. And today I feel like Donald Trump. Astonished, Royal Belgian FA reaction to FIFA's extraordinary decision to lift suspension on Fuller and Balogun. Royal Belgian Football Association adds that to safeguard the legitimate rights of teams, it is investigating all potential options. Unbelievable decision. Royal Belgian Football Association is astonished by FIFA's decision to declare suspended United States player Fuller and Balogun eligible to play in the USA-Belgium match on Monday, 6th of July at 5 p.m. Seattle time. Today, I feel a migrant worker. Okay, I did say it wrong. The red card was bullshit. This is corruption accidentally landing on the correct position. Okay, dude. FIFA bases its decision on Article 27 of the FIFA Disciplinary Code. This provision states that the FIFA Disciplinary Committee may decide to suspend the enforcement of a previously imposed disciplinary sanction. However, Article 66.4 of the same FIFA Disciplinary Code clearly provides that a red card, sending off, automatically results in a suspension for the team's next match, as has been the case for all previous red cards issued during this FIFA World Cup. Furthermore, and irrespective of the above, the decision is in direct contradiction with the provisions of the FIFA World Cup 2026 competition regulations as set out in Article 10.5. If a player of a team official is sent off as a result of a direct or indirect red card, second caution, they will automatically be suspended from their team's subsequent match. In addition, further sanctions may be imposed. First of all, how do you look at the situation and not assume that the referees are probably also still going to heavily favor the American team and probably try to carry them to a victory in this World Cup? Bruh, Hasanabi loves Europe like Asmongold. Anyone against this is a Euroid. Look, man, I call balls and strikes. I'm sorry. FIFA is an unbelievably corrupt organization. Donald Trump is an unbelievably corrupt petty tyrant. And this is a perfect perfect synchronicity moment for both of these hilariously and laughably corrupt people. If I don't cover this seriously, then I am not a serious person. Okay? Like, are you serious? Balls and strikes is baseball, you Amerifat? Yes, I am. I am an Amerifat. I am an Ameroid. Okay, but as an Ameroid, I still have some principles. The automatic nature of such a suspension was also explicitly reaffirmed in the FIFA World Cup 2026 Circular number 16, which was distributed to all participating members on the 12th of May, 2026. Here, that's the... Oh, the video is not available in my location. Does anyone have the video? I want to watch the video. Sounds like you hate to see a black man have his rights to play footy restored. Yeah, or a naturalized citizen, actually. I must hate immigrants. This is what the Americans sound like in here right now.
Corruption is not bad. Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved. Yes. But if I'm part of that corruption, I'll defend it.
Oh, that's awesome. This is the original reporter that broke it. Exclusive. The White House made a direct call to FIFA to ask Gianni Infantino to review Fuller and Balogun's red card. FIFA approached for comment and refer to the findings of its independent committee. FIFA sources insist White House influence could not affect the decision due to the powers contained in Article 27 and the independent nature of the disciplinary panel. Sure, bud. He's not an immigrant. He's an anchor baby. Mom wasn't allowed to fly because she was too pregnant. How USA will play against Belgium now that they have Donald Trump's presidential red card immunity? I thought it was called football, brother. Fuck you mean? This is how we're playing. This is how we're moving on the field, boys. Not that USA will get there, but a USA v Mexico finals would be insane. It's clearly blatant corruption, but that red card was terrible.
That, okay, it's not on. Let's keep...
All right, where is it?
The ball. Let's keep some of the possession. It's been a little bit of a spell for Bosnia-Herzegovina.
CA for watching a 3-second clip of FIFA. Wait, really? Okay, I won't do it. I won't. Don't watch this shit, bro. Okay, I won't touch it. I thought he was just like straight up watching the full thing. Flopping in FIFA is next level. But be so for real now. Fuck America for this. I can't wait for France to beat your asses, Amerifat bastards. The Balogun decision is one of the biggest own goals by organizers I've seen in the 10 World Cups I've covered. X is doing the same. No ban. He was watching it live. Okay, dude. Watching a fucking game of footy live. Watching a World Cup game live is crazy. Did he think he was on Kick?
Reprieve news and FIFA. A pretty shocked decision, which has shocked a lot of people. And you can understand the Belgian FA's frustration and why they're looking at if there's anything they can do about it, and also how they can actually safeguard the interests of participating nations and protect the sport. Is effectively what the Belgian...
Dog, look, I'm not going to play the clip. I'm just going to show you. Okay. I'm just going to show you second by second. Okay. Ball's coming in. Ball's coming in. My man opens up. Not only kicks, but steps. Oh! 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 I'm sorry. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh! Look at what he did to his ankle. Are you out of your fucking mind? Chatters, please get real. He's just landing on the ground, bro. Really? Are we doing this thing that Trump supporters do when they're like, look at the ground? The ground is actually American flag blue. The ground is American flag blue, which happens to be the same color of this dude's fucking ankle after Balogun landed on it. Holy fuck. Look at this. Oh, oh, oh. I felt like it broke my ankle again. Clip chimping him. Okay, but imagine his ankle is Israel. How would you feel? I don't watch much soccer and don't really even want to defend this, but Messi did the same shit, bro. Yeah, okay, cook his ass too. Yeah. For the record, that's also fucked up. They should cook his ass as well. The only difference is at least Messi has some semblance of plausible deniability for aggressively pulling back. Okay? Whereas Balogun went all the way in. I'm not saying this is not valid. Okay? I'm not saying this is not valid. I don't like Messi. I don't give a shit about Messi. I don't care about the Argentinian soccer team's chances. But at least Messi pulls back. I can't tell if you're being serious. He did the classic American strat, double down. Yeah, that's another one of maybe Trump also saved his ass too, because that's MAGA Messi. You know what I mean? Can you tell chatters that intent is literally not a consideration according to the official rule book when it comes to giving a red card? They don't seem to get this part. Yeah. Bro, it's like a player can receive a red card for a wide range of misconduct or unsportsmanlike behaviors during a match. Violent actions, abusive, offensive, or insulting language, spitting or deliberately denying the opposing term a scoring goal opportunity by committing a handball foul, or offenses that can get a red card. This is why I hate soccer. Why is he MAGA Messi? Please don't rule football for me. What do you mean? He literally came to America and ate Donald Trump's penis. Donald Trump loves Messi and Ronaldo. He loves all of them. So he don't got internet. Messi don't got internet. Stop. Oh, he definitely got internet. He was invited as a winner of the league is different than Ronaldo. Copium. I don't think it's any different. I think they all just love power. They don't give a shit. People who lean left are more likely to be Messi fans. Reject Messiism, embrace Hollandic thought. Yeah, so I hate to do this to you, but I'm pretty sure Holland also called like didn't he do a FaceTime with like you might be getting deported for this one, nephew. Don't show Messi fans this. Soccer powerhouse FC Barcelona wraps up his 2-day peace tour with a special match in Tel Aviv. Supporting Messi is praxis. No, Holland is pro-Palestine, but I'm pretty sure he called. Didn't he do a FaceTime? Did I get duped? Or did Holland actually do a FaceTime with like some Israeli person or something? Holland is not shocking that Holland is pro-Palestine. He's Norwegian. Norwegians are very, very pro-Palestine. As far as like white people go, other than Irish people, usually Norwegians are very pro-Palestine. So that's not that shocking. But what was shocking to me, that was PSYOP. So it wasn't Holland never called some Israeli guy. That was bullshit. Messi kissed the wall too. You're taking your example from Fredda? No, Norwegians are pretty chill on, bro, I'd tongue fuck that wall for a chip, for a World Cup championship. You'd be French kissing it? Is that what you're saying? For a cup? Hell yeah. Lionel Messi. Some of y'all have no principles, man. It's crazy. This photo is AI.
Just saying, the Belgians obviously play the Americans, enhanced by the unbanned Balogun, and the optics of it are obviously terrible for FIFA.
Oh shit, the
And
Holland
what is
story was
sad
fake?
and incredibly damaging for FIFA and for the sport is that it undermines the referee.
He did call an
It
Israeli
undermines
soldier.
VAR.
Oh, so it's not fake. Yeah, he did. He did call an Israeli soldier. He didn't call him to fucking thank him for murdering Palestinians, though. So it's not fake. I was right. Multiple pro-Palestinian users on social media have been sharing clips since Monday claiming it showed Norwegian footballer Erling Haaland calling an Israeli soldier to congratulate him on killing Palestinians. However, Haaland's call was to ask about the soldier's well-being after his captivity and had nothing to do with Palestinians. Omer Shem Tov, a 22-year-old Israeli national, spent 505 days in Hamas captivity. He did. Haaland was born in England. We only think he's pro-Palestine because he bagged a hat trick against Israel. You support Hebron James, clown, fuck you. I'm just saying, man, none of these superstar athletes, with some notable exceptions are real ones. It sucks, Stan Mbappe, I guess. Mbappe, I don't know why they're most of these athletes I'm pointing to are French now, but Wembayama, Yamal is a real one, obviously. Yeah. General Mbappe carrying the torch of Maradona. The real GOAT. The dictator Mbappe. Your GOAT would suck Yahoo's cock. Dude, there's a lot of Haaland fans in here, I think. They're getting so mad. He didn't know it was an Israeli soldier. I mean, I still like Haaland. I think he's a very interesting character. You guys don't have to be so ruthless. I know who you're talking about when you said your GOAT would suck Yahoo's cock, so shut the fuck up. I know. Also, Mbappe is a little bit of a... He was like kind of groomed by Emmanuel Macron when he was like 18. So... He's been getting groomed by Macron since he was like 18, so I don't know. I don't know where Mbappe will go politically. It's real. That's a real story. Why are you saying it like that? It's true. Macron himself was groomed. The cycle of abuse continues. It's true. Mbappe is anti-sports betting and pro-trans rights. Who else is doing that? No, I really like him. And he also hates the far right. He hates the national. He hates the nationalists. He has openly stated his political positions. He doesn't shy away from it, which I really like. But also at the same time, I'm a little worried because, once again, he's like super, super tight with Macron. And I fucking hate Macron. So... I know they call him the dictator. I know they call him that. He even gave a nod to the meme after scoring a goal, right? Didn't he go up and hit the dictator salute? I'm so upset that you'll talk about this, but not watch Abdul's video. What? Yeah, I'm not gonna watch Abdul El Sayed doing a Taylor Swift video. Okay, this is real shit. Yeah, journalist, I'm to your left, really on the far left. Good thing you weren't on the other side. I mean, it's a joke, but yeah, he has openly expressed his disdain for the far right on numerous occasions. You're scared of the Swifties? No. To be serious, probably like a left lib, most likely to the left than Macron, but I don't think he would fuck with Mélenchon. No. Wemby and I don't know about Mbappe, but I know Wemby has spoken out against I think Mélenchon being too far left. A lot of the Frenchies I know are also on that wavelength, unfortunately, where they're like, oh, party socialist is good, but like LFI is too radical and too crazy, and Mélenchon is too angry all the time. And I'm like, man, you guys should be angry too. I don't know why you're so mad at Macron. He's really pro-Palestine. Are you fucking... Oh my God, Greek chatter. Of course, spicy spanakopita. It's really funny. Yeah. Macron is super pro-Palestine. True.
Bro, how did you miss that chance? You suck. You can't play football.
Anyway. This Paraguay fan was seen wearing the Mbappe dictator shirt. They already made shirts? That's crazy. This is the anthem.
Kylian dictador. Kylian dictador. Kylian dictador. Kylian Mbappé, Kylian dictador, el que manda en el campo, el hombre de fe. Kylian Mbappé, Kylian dictador, si yo pido el trono yo ya lo tomé. Kylian Mbappé, Kylian dictador, Florentino me llama y yo ya llegué. Kylian Mbappé, Kylian dictador, mi palabra es la ley, ¿qué vas a hacer? Piso el césped blanco, siento el poder. Florentino me da el precio, yo lo voy a hacer, pero a mi manera, con mi condición, aquí no se juega sin mi aprobación. Miro al banquillo, veo a Ancelotti, prepara las maletas que hoy te toca el auti. Falta de respeto es pura jerarquía, yo traigo la luz, yo traigo el día. Carlos se marcha, su ciclo acabó, porque ahora el mando lo tengo yo. Kylian Mbappé, Kylian dictador, el que manda en el campo, el hombre de fe. Kylian Mbappé, Kylian dictador, si yo pido el trono yo ya lo tomé. Kylian Mbappé.
I've seen the TikToks where they talk about those men would have been executed. I've seen the TikToks where they just like, they talk about how he's just like stands away from the team. Does anyone have the actual, like the OG TikTok that just like summarizes why they call him a dictator? Kylian Mbappe to Paraguay player, your mother's pussy. What Kami says. Yeah, he watches his team train. Kylian Mbappe oversaw French's practice from an elevated scaffolding instead of training with his team. Did you hear about the Argentinian fans telling Speed to go cry at the zoo? They were basically calling him a monkey numerous times. I mean, that's the least surprising event I've ever heard. That's like wow. Of course. Classic Argentina. The least shocking. Yeah, fork found in the kitchen moment. Yeah, those were the most progressive Argentinians out there.
استرد المظالم حتى الأراضي نسام رسول أهل العزائم القول قول الصوارم كي تسترد المظالم حتى الأراضي نسام رسول أهل العزائم القول قول الصوارم كي تسترد المظالم حتى الأراضي نسام رسول أهل العزائم ما دنسوا لي حمانا لو طوقته الضراغم حثالة القول.
Here's the video. What are you saying? He said N-word, go home. An Argentinian in America is saying that to an American black man.
What are you saying? What are you saying? Like, what are you even saying, bro? What are you saying?
That's why the Hasanabi broadcast has no official position on the Falkland Wars. Journalists keep rage baiting Ronaldo.
Fez o que fez hoje. O Messi também consegue hat-trick, consegue fazer uma coisa. O que é que isto diz sobre ela?
Cristiano Ronaldo asked again and again about Messi. I couldn't care less about others. Mbappe also scored. Yeah.
Are you excited to be at the draft?
Wow, so excited.
Who's your favorite NBA player?
LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Liqueurs.
Liqueurs. I love the liqueurs.
Who's going to win the NBA Finals next season?
Of course, I'm going to say the Lakers.
Liqueurs. Hassan, can you stop capitulating? To what? This is just playing in the colonial division, and the security is an American black man. This is just colonial division. Hassan, can you stop capitulating? Wait, what? A dictator liking another dictator? I mean, that also makes sense. Mbappe is unintentionally funny.
When it was getting late, so
he's not unintentionally funny. He's also actually a funny dude.
Referees watched to see when he could go home. The ref wanted to play longer, but Mbappe said it was time to go to bed. Now the pitch was too wet, so the owner of the grass told them to personally mop the water out. So he...
Yeah. Pre-Mexico versus England. Hassan is showing his true Turkish colors. Politically Asian, third worldist, soccer-wise European lib. England booked 15 different hotels. Mexico fans still found out where they're staying and blasted noise all night long. Is the Viagra thing real? Because, like, I know a lot of people have been complaining about how the stadium that they're playing at is literally the highest stadium, I think, on the planet. And Mexico's never lost a home game on this. Or are you guys, like, fucking around about the Viagra thing? I don't know. The support didn't reach me. Thomas Tuchel denies reports that his England team will be using Viagra to help cope with the altitude in Mexico City. Mexico City's higher than Denver. It's brutal, bro. No, I know. It's not the highest. The highest is in Peru. Oh, okay. I thought it was one of the highest. Yeah, the stadium that they're playing in, is literally unbelievably high in altitude, right? Higher than Denver. And therefore, fans are speculating that this gives an uneven advantage to the Mexico team. And that's people are saying that that's the reason why Mexico's never lost a home game on this in their home turf. Yeah, Mexico's only lost 2 out of 89 matches played at Azteca. 10,000 meters. Mount Everest, 8,848 meters. K2, 8,611 meters. Himalayas. The Azteca Stadium is not 10,000. The image is fake, obviously. But it is higher than Denver, right? The altitude is higher than Denver, isn't it? Denver is 1 kilometer. And Mexico City, I think, is 2 kilometers above elevation, above sea level, which is doors open. Yeah. And I was getting fucked up. I was getting fucked up in Denver. So I don't know how doubling that is going to feel like. Or not 1 kilometer, sorry, 1 mile. Bro, what is this misinformation? There's a football player in Bolivia who has a higher elevation. Did you take Viagra? No, I took oxygen. Yeah. Denver sits at 5,280 feet, 1 mile above sea level, whereas Estadio Azteca sits at an elevation roughly about 7,200 feet, 2,200 meters.
That is not true.
Is it true that you guys are considering using Viagra to contrast or mitigate the effects of the altitude?
The information and the support didn't reach me, so that is not true.
Yeah. Real image of the stadium. Yeah, the stadium. Okay, that's so stupid. Good luck to the England and their game at Azteca. No, but the actual stadium images are dope. I've seen it. Hold on, I gotta grab my food. Stop coming. The Belgian coach weighs in. Belgium coach Rudy Garcia. I didn't know that at the World Cup as FIFA, the 5th of July is actually the 1st of April. It's April Fools. We're not defending the national team or federation. We are defending football and integrity. I mean, makes sense why they would be up in their feelings about this, obviously. It's pretty fucking ridiculous that, Donald Trump straight up came in and was like, yep, you're going to fix this for us. I'm sorry, there's no defending that. Like, even if you were contesting whether or not it was an appropriate, if it was an appropriate red card or not, that's one thing. But to have Donald Trump directly call in and have Infantino change the decision after the fact, or like or deny the next game suspension after the fact is ridiculous, dude. Anyway. Okay, we did a lot of footy memes. We did a lot of footy memes. Yeah. Fucking hell. Here, this is the last thing I was going to say.
One of the many problems with the Fowler and Balogun reprieve news and FIFA, pretty shock decision, which has shocked a lot of people. You can understand the Belgian FA's frustration and why they're looking at if there's anything they can do about it, and also how they can actually safeguard the interests of participating nations and protect the sport is effectively what the Belgians are saying. The Belgians obviously play the Americans, enhanced by the unbanned Balogun, and the optics of it are obviously terrible for FIFA. And what is sad and incredibly damaging for FIFA and for the sport is that it undermines the referee, it undermines VAR, it undermines the whole refereeing structure and system, and also definitely to an extent the credibility. It undermines the World Cup, which has actually been a celebration of all the good qualities of football, and it obviously undermines FIFA. Now some might say, that's not difficult, but FIFA were probably having a half decent tournament because it has been a very good tournament. And so for a decision like this, an own goal like this, is just absolute madness and is very damaging, and the long-term ramifications as well as the short-term anger will be intense.
Yeah. Direct call, by the way, is crazy. Like a phone call. He just straight up did that shit. Beast mode. I know a lot of Americans will say, oh, this is good. Who cares? Fuck you. But, America has a good team this year. Doing really well. I feel like decisions like this hurt their global credibility. Not that it matters, because obviously America doesn't give a shit about that. But yeah.
I'm going to take my record. I'm going to keep focusing on what we want to do.
All right.
There were a few.
Let's move on to Trump's rally to celebrate 4th of July, which I watched last night with my family off my phone.
Weather-related delays
as they were watching the fireworks because they hate America and I love America.
Last night with a speech on the National Mall. It was part celebration, part partisan messaging, and all of it happening on the hottest July 4th ever recorded here in Washington, D.C.
Overnight, President Trump celebrating America's 250th birthday.
Tonight we pledge allegiance to the flag they gave us, and we say, God bless the immortal patriots of 1776.
But also delivering a politically charged address on the National Mall.
We want to keep America great, and we will do so by approving the Save America Act. You won't have cheating on the election.
This was so funny. This is America's 250th birthday, dude. This is America's 250th birthday. And he spent the presidential address talking about the Save America Act, like the Save Act, talking about mail-in ballots, talking about communism. Ridiculous.
And repeatedly denouncing communism.
We don't want communists in our country.
Capping a day of festivities on the hottest July 4th ever recorded in the nation's capital. The heat index in the D.C. area reaching a high of 112 degrees. And Trump's 16-day Great American State Fair at times struggling to draw a crowd.
The events have been postponed, I'm told by an organizer, it's because of the intense heat.
For your safety, all guests must seek shelter.
On Saturday, crews transporting 12 people to local hospitals for heat-related reasons. The president's remarks coming right before a record-setting show of more than 850,000 fireworks.
And guys, it wasn't just the heat causing problems yesterday. Just hours before Trump's speech, storm threats forced officials to evacuate thousands from the National Mall and seek shelter. Trump ended up taking the stage an hour and a half late, Stephanie.
All right, Selena, thank you. And make sure to tune in to This Week Later. George Stephanopoulos interviews Interior Secretary Doug Burgum about America's 250th anniversary and President Trump's renovations around Washington, D.C.
I'm Jackie Heinrich in Washington. This is the Sunday Briefing. President Trump is wrapping up the holiday weekend at the White House after delivering a late-night address to thousands at the America 250 celebration on the National Mall. In his speech, the president...
He also had to bring up that there were 345,000 people that were there, but then they had to be evacuated, but but 180,000 patriots showed up, which I don't even know if those numbers are real or not, but it's very funny.
It celebrated America's history and touted the country's military strength.
Our rise to being the world's strongest and most powerful nation was no accident of history. We use it, and we've had tremendous success. You look at Venezuela, you look at Iran, we wiped out their military.
Coming up, I'll be joined live by Enes Kanter Freedom and Jimmy Fallon on the massive America 250 celebrations around the country. But we begin with a Fox News alert.
Gross.
Iran's top leaders attending a second day of funeral ceremonies in Tehran for the late supreme leader, who was killed 4 months ago at the start of the U.S. and Israeli attacks. Massive crowds calling for revenge against the U.S. and Israel. Negotiations over a permanent end to the conflict remain on hold until the funeral ceremonies conclude later this week. For more on the Iran peace talks and the future of U.S.-Israel relations, also what's next for the region, I'm joined now for an exclusive interview with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin.
Brother. Here we go. How much you want to bet they were salivating at the prospect of bombing the fucking funeral proceedings? I mean, Mark Levin was demanding it.
Netanyahu. Prime Minister, thank you so much for joining the Sunday briefing, sir.
Well, good to be with you, Jackie. And again, congratulations on your marriage.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. I want to jump right in. Your relationship with the U.S. president has faced some recent tests over Iran, but you shared a very warm call marking the 250th birthday of this country. You called the U.S. a guarantor of global freedom, and you arranged a meeting here in the U.S. soon. When is that meeting set to happen, and should people take this as some signal that any potential rift has been mended?
I don't think there's a rift. America called us the model ally because we're, unlike many of your so-called allies, we actually fight alongside you. Our brave soldiers and your brave soldiers fight shoulder to shoulder. I think America has no greater.
Really? Really? Where were you guys during Iraq, Afghanistan? Was there any talk about boots on the ground in Iran? Must have missed that. It felt more like a demand that America go and wage Israel's wars in Iran, and how anti-Semitic it is that people don't want to do that. But maybe I'm wrong on it. I don't know.
And Israel has no greater ally than the United States. Now, let me tell you this. President Trump is the leader of the United States. He does what's good for America. I'm the leader of Israel, the one and only Jewish state. I do what's good for Israel. 99% of the time, we see eye to eye. But in any family, in any close friendship, there are sometimes differences of opinion, and we discuss them openly, I can tell you, in a free spirit, and usually we resolve them too.
That free-spirited debate has made some headlines recently. Last month, the president made clear that you're going to have to accept whatever deal with Iran that the U.S. reaches. He told the Financial Times he won't have any choice. I call the shots. And then he doubled down on this yesterday, telling Axios Netanyahu knows who the boss is. Do you accept that the U.S. would have final say?
Do you know who the boss is? He's dispelled the talking point that Trump was the first president to start a war on the behest of Israel when George W. Bush invaded Iraq for exactly the same. No, that's not true. That's not true. I don't believe that. I think that's wrong. Did Israel play a role, an advisory role, and urge America to definitely go to war with Iraq? Yes, of course they did. Benjamin Netanyahu was there. But to state that this was a divergence, or to state that this was entirely in the hands of Israel, is wrong. It's just not true. Iraq, Iran, Turkey. Okay. No. America had personal ambitions in Iraq. America had personal ambitions in Iraq. They happened to be in line with Israel's agenda of destabilizing the region, with the final prize being Iran. But to say that it was like Israel's, to say that we only fought in Iraq because of Israel is bullshit. You're abdicating too much responsibility away from the hands of the Americans. It's untrue.
when American and Israeli interests diverge?
Well, first of all, let me say that we have an excellent relationship, which is defined, as I said, between allies. He's obviously the leader of the United States, which happily is the leader of the world. And Israel is a very strong, vibrant, democratic state. In fact, the only democratic state in the Middle East in a very large radius, and we're great allies. I think that the real question is, do we have differing goals when it comes to Iran?
He's about to be like, it's the only democratic state in the world, really.
The answer is no. We are set on the same goal. We want to see Iran give up its nuclear weapons program. We want to see the nuclear enriched material removed. We want to see the enrichment sites for nuclear material dismantled. We have other common objectives. And President Trump believes that after the battering that the two of us, Israel and United States and Israel, gave to Iran, he thinks that he can generate enough leeway, enough pressure through the negotiations to get these goals achieved. And we respect that, and I hope he succeeds. But I can tell you this, deal or no deal, as long as I'm prime minister, Iran will not have nuclear weapons.
On this memorandum of understanding you're referring to, in the meantime, Iran has been doubling down on its intention to charge tolls in the Strait of Hormuz. They've been cashing in on the...
Isn't that Gottheimer's take? Oh, Gottheimer. You mean Mersheimer, Gottheimer. That Cheney was against it at first and then got convinced by the lobby? I don't agree with that. Dick Cheney has been pushing the Iraq war meta for his own personal ambitions at Halliburton and for the American defense contractors, and more importantly, the American petrocapitalists since, I believe, 1994, even earlier. So the idea that this was, something that he was against is complete bullshit. He was very openly for it.
Day sanctions waiver. And according to the Institute for the Study of War, they've also been fortifying tunnel entrances at some of the nuclear sites and reconstituting their defenses. Many of your supporters have argued that Iran came out ahead in this negotiation. The regime is still in power. There are key elements of the nuclear program that are still intact. And the waiver could reportedly generate billions for the regime over these 60 days. The president reportedly has told aides he is okay if these talks blow past the August 18th deadline for a nuclear agreement. Are you okay with that?
Look, did you ever go to the opera? I mean, I'm not a big opera fan, but when I came to the opera the first time, they gave me the cliche. It's not over until the fat lady sings. And you know what? It was over after she sang in that particular concert. I would say it's not over. I would judge it when it's over. But as I said, I think the most important thing is that we have a common goal. And that means Iran cannot have nuclear weapons or the capacity to make nuclear weapons. There are other goals as well. And I think we've been very lucky that President Trump is leading the United States, leading the free world in this common effort. And believe me, if I have things that I want to point out to him and bring my own opinions, I do so in a free way. And when he has things he wants to tell me, he does that in a free way too. That's what friends and allies do with each other.
Your defense minister indicated that Israel...
Why are they chatting with the Antichrist? Because the Antichrist is the real president. What do you mean? Of course Fox News is going to talk to the real president. It's an unbelievable big get for Fox News. The opportunity to talk to the actual president of the United States of America.
Israel is prepping a unilateral strike package for Iran. First of all, is that true? But second, would carrying that out be more politically difficult if you chose to go there after the vice president said this? Listen here.
She asked,
Donald
are
J.
you
Trump
okay with Trump's
is
decisions?
The only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time. And he happens to be the head of state of the world superpower. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world.
What was your reaction when you heard that?
First of all, I respect J.D. Vance. We have a very good relationship, but doesn't mean that I agree with everything that he says. And I have to point out this. Donald Trump is the greatest friend we ever had in the White House. And I stand by that completely. Secondly, we have some other friends, like a small country called India. You know, it has 1.4 billion people. And boy.
Ain't no way, dog. Ain't no fucking way. Bro, there's no way he turned around and said, India's got us. Bro, oh my God. To the Indian Hasanabi heads, I'm so sorry. Y'all are constantly eating it on both ends. You know what I mean? You have to deal with the fucking weird nationalists, the BJP losers. And then you have to deal with the motherfuckers in the rest of the world that hear shit like this and go, this is going to make me extra racist towards Indians. You know? Feel bad. Devastating. Devastating blow to India's PR, which has taken tremendous hits over the last couple of years.
Do we have...
Would you let Indians emigrate to Israel, though? Fuck no, dude. They're racist as hell. Of course not.
Tremendous support there. Mm-hmm. You know, I have this Facebook thing, and I'm just flooded by the overwhelming support there, and we have many others. Let me tell you where we have support, because it's fashionable now, and you know, in many countries, because their media and their social media are inundated with anti-Israel, anti-Semitic material. Many leaders, you know, call me up and say, "Hey, look, I've got this problem with public opinion, but I want you to know we respect you, and can we make some deals, and can you teach us some of the things that your military does, and can we have some of your AI and cyber expertise?" You know, Israel is the #2 country in cyber in the world, and our technology is absurd. It's so good. The relation.
Zero chill. He went, one, everybody hates us, but that's because they're anti-Semitic. Two, in countries where everybody hates us, the leadership will quietly reach out to us to be like, sir, we can't deal with how much everybody hates you, but can you please give us new surveillance technology so we can better regulate the way people feel about Israel? Incredible stuff. He has no understanding of how this looks, I think, or doesn't care because he has awesome power. You know who I know is not pro-Israel, though? Stuck between borders guy. There ain't no way that motherfucker's both Norwegian and Indian. He is not pro-Israel, I bet.
Are not quite as they appear, and we have many, many friends. And I have to tell you, we also take care of our friends, especially the Christians in the Middle East. The Christian villages in Lebanon, some of them have actually asked to be annexed to Israel because we protect them against the...
Bro. Oh my God. They're actually begging us to be annexed, dude.
They appear, and we have many, many friends. And I have to tell you, we also take care of our friends, especially the Christians in the Middle East. The Christian villages in Lebanon, some of them have actually asked to be annexed to Israel because we protect them against the Hezbollah fanatics who want to kill them. And we do the same things with Christians everywhere.
Well, you're
protect
leading
the Christians in the Middle East.
You're touching on my next question, because a source close to the vice president's team told Politico that statement that he made reflects his view of this new political reality where, quote, the vice president sees that the ground is shifting against Israel among voters, including with younger Republicans. He's responding accordingly with nuance instead of stridency. Do you take that as a warning that if Israel were to act alone, the Trump administration would withhold its backing?
Well, first of all, it concerns me that there's that element of anti-Israel, first of all, in the Democratic Party and in the woke right. I'm concerned with that, and to the extent that we can do something...
The woke right.
To mend it, obviously, I'll do it.
That's not going to work. Little bro, simply slapping woke in front of the anti-Israel right and the anti-Israel far right is not going to work. They really suck at marketing, man. They have, I mean, straight up, it blows my mind how bad they are at marketing this shit. Yeah, I know that's what Ben Shapiro calls the anti-Israel right. They call them the woke right. It's not going to work. It's like Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, all these fucking losers. I think it was invented by Conceptual James, if I recall correctly. They are good at propaganda, though. No, I mean, they are elected. Haha, funny how it goes. No, they're not good at propaganda. Brother, if they're actually good at propaganda, they're not good at propaganda. They're good at controlling flows of information. And for the longest time, they were pretty good at deplatforming people. Since that has changed, they have actually sucked at it because they still operate like loyalty, fealty to Israel is unquestioned in both parties. Do you see what I mean? They're still playing the field as though they have the field advantage. They don't. And that's where you realize, like, oh, never mind. Their propaganda wasn't good. They just like bought so much influence. That's it. That's all this was.
But I find that there's something unique about these attacks. And that something is that the people who hate Israel end up hating America. And I've seen that, you know, when they do these, you know, these demonstrations, these protests against Israel defending itself, this tiny country defending itself against these
size of New Jersey
murderers who commit to exterminate us. And we do what any self-respecting country would do. We defend ourselves. But when they do the protests, they burn Israeli flags, and very often right next to them, they burn American flags. Mm-hmm. But when those Americans who support Israel, non-Jews and Jews alike, when they do a demonstration to support Israel, they wave the Israeli flag and they wave the American flag. So I think there's a process taking place inside America, which you probably know better than me, of questioning America's traditional values and going to many places that I think challenge not only our alliance, but they challenge the traditional values that form the basis of each of our countries. And I hope that's not something that is going to proceed. I hope America changes direction. That's really what I hope to see.
And you're touching on this growing trend of anti-Semitism, especially among young people, and I'm going to ask you about that next. But just to put a pin in this piece of the conversation, you know, what do you say to critics who argue that Israel has embraced sort of a permanent state of war and that there's not really an end game here? Because they point to places like Gaza and say that Hamas, you know, is still in power. They haven't laid down their arms. You know, what do you say to those critics who accuse Israel of being in a permanent state of war?
Oh, we're not in a permanent state of war. I myself, with President Trump, we brought forth 4 peace deals. That's what we did. It's the Abraham Accords. And I believe with the weakening of Iran, which has been achieved by our common action, our common military action, I think we're going to get more because countries would like to align with us and to protect their future and also their prosperity. Israel is a powerhouse. I mean, it's
so funny when left to his own devices, he's like, war has to be endless. We have to keep waging war nonstop. War has to be never ending because we're in a bad neighborhood. When he comes to American television, he's like, I love peace. Peace is my favorite thing. I wish we never had to wage war. They just are waging it upon us.
It's an engine of innovation, of AI, of quantum, of just of everything. So I don't see that. But I'll tell you one thing. I think that the Lebanon deal has shown that we have more cards to play. Okay. Lebanon would like to free itself of Hezbollah, these Hezbollah terrorists who are, you know, making their life miserable. And it's not only the Christians in Lebanon who ask for our protection. It's the Druze, it's Muslims, the Sunni Muslims, and quite a few of the Shiite Muslims too. Okay. So they'd like to free Lebanon. I hope we can get more peace deals. And I can tell you, You know, if you want to have peace, you better be able to protect yourself against those who want to annihilate you. We do that. But in defending ourselves, we're defending our common civilization, the people who chant death to America. Last point, Jackie. The funeral, in the funeral of Khamenei, which was held yesterday, they chanted, the Iranians, including the organizers, they not only chanted death to America, they said, kill Trump. They chanted death to Trump.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to hear that in Israel. Israel is the best ally the United States has anywhere around the world.
Well, that brings me here because I want to make sure that we talk about this sweep of democratic socialists on the left in America.
Uh-oh. It's like, dude, can you imagine? By the way. Why are we asking the leader of a foreign nation this? Like, is this being asked of the Estonian leadership? Is this being asked of the Lithuanian leadership? Are they calling up the fucking German head of state and being like, hey, what do you think about the New York DSA slate and its sequence of victories? Imagine they're about to show him a clip of you. I hope not. I've heard that Big Yahoo knows who I am and thinks I'm an irrelevant figure, like not a relevant figure in a force in American politics because I'm like too radical, which is good. I want him to feel that way if that's a real story. This is what I've heard from secondhand accounts.
Who have unseated a number of moderate, even some progressive incumbents who are very well funded. Happened in New York, happened in Colorado. And for many of these candidates, Israel's becoming their purity test. Listen to this.
It breaks my heart. Someone who wrote good legislation for queers is so terrible in Gaza.
So that was California State Senator Scott Wiener, Jewish Democrat. He's called the war in Gaza a genocide. He opposes U.S. funding for Israel, and he was driven out of the annual trans rally by activists raging about his Zionist handlers. And then you've got Congressman Dan Goldman, also Jewish. He just lost his primary over his ties to AIPAC.
To another Jewish congressperson. Dude, we have just erased Brad Lander is no longer Jewish. Okay? And this is not just on Fox News. This is literally on CNN too. I cannot believe it. Also, none of those guys are DSA. Brad Lander literally left DSA. You say that as a joke, but they unironically do say that? No, I know. It's fucking nuts.
Despite being one of your most vocal critics. So what do you think is happening here in America?
I think there's obviously a very anti-Israel and an anti-American wave. And I think they're connected because then look at the values that they have. What do they want to see? Do they want to see a strong America defending America's interests and around the world when it's necessary? Or do they want to see a different America? And of course, also on the foundations of free markets, for example, that I believe in very strongly, and that many Americans have believed it, and I think they made America great. No, they challenged that too. So I think there's a correlation between that. And unfortunately, people who know better, I would say who should know better, but I think they all know better. And these people let themselves be swept by these irrational protests and this.
I saw some guy write a letter to Brad Lander in 2028. Apologizing for DSA using him as a token Jew and then running an anti-Zionist and rat fucking him, just pure hallucination. Wait, what? I don't even understand what it is. What that means? Like in the future? Like a guy was writing a letter to future Brad Lander?
This very toxic ideology. I don't think it lasts because I think America can try it.
Okay.
Just try it. Try socialism.
Final word.
We tried it here. It didn't work that much. So I decided to try free markets. It worked a lot better. And, Americans will eventually get that picture, too.
Final word here with about 15 seconds left. Taken together, what the vice president said about younger Republicans and what we're seeing with this growing radicalism on the left. Are you worried about the long-term?
Yes, the future Brad comments were full of people calling Brad a capo, fucking crazy shit. Dude, I think it's because it's a dying movement, honestly. I think Zionism is a dying movement. And I do think that more and more Jews will either shit or get off the pot. Like, it's not tenable. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, no, I really fucking care about this country, this foreign nation. If it doesn't exist, the Holocaust will happen, but also I'll never live there. Like, if you're a Jewish American and you've already seen the generational split, it's over. Those ties have been severed, right? That's never going to be repaired. I think regardless of what happens with anti-Semitism, I don't think the young generation of Jews will ever consider Israel to be anything but a reason for why people became anti-Semitic. They will not look at Israel as their savior, right? For the older Jews who do believe that Israel is like what's holding the world from doing Holocaust all the time, which is a hysterical way to live your life. And it's also one that you don't truly believe, but you've been so conditioned that you think you believe it. But for a lot of those guys, I think they're inevitably going to have to come to the conclusion that either they're all Kahanists. Maybe some of them might even move to Israel, as a matter of fact. But it will be a marginal group that still has this like unshakable loyalty to the state of Israel while simultaneously living in America, living in the UK. Like, those days are gone. I don't think they realize it. I don't think these guys realize it, that the ground has shifted from under their feet.
Durability of the U.S.-Israel relationship.
The more reasonable people have already broken off canvassing. No. You haven't even seen it yet. What I'm talking about is going to happen at the next presidential election. You'll see. Like, because remember, we are at the edge of American politics here. We're following it closely. We're day in, day out. Sometimes we're directly dealing with it. Okay? So our perspective is definitely a little bit further ahead than the average person's perspective. The average person doesn't even know the fucking primaries are taking place, right? When there is a massive seismic shift that everyone is, at least to a certain degree, aware of, like the midterms, but even the midterms are not that big. The general election for the presidential election would be that seismic shift. When you have this issue get talked about at the forefront of the political conversation, that's when that seismic shift is going to happen. The average liberal is going to come to terms with that reality. The average Jewish liberal who is a lifelong Democratic Party voter, it's already a kitchen table talk for a lot of people. Of course it is.
I worry about the trends that I see. I won't tell you that I'm not worried about it, because I think it has something to do with frankly, with the social media, with the penetration of social media that has been used and abused by countries, three in particular, and they've had bot farms that push the stuff against America and against Israel, and
not Big Yahoo. Not Big Yahoo talking about foreign countries manipulating American consciousness. Who is the most visible billionaire who openly bought TikTok, CBS, and CNN, that also happens to be the biggest donor to the Friends of the IDF charity? And that's the stuff that we see. That's the stuff that the average guy hears about, knows about, understands, and doesn't like. When you start getting into the bot stuff, Black Cube or numerous other former Mossad agents that start PSYOP organizations, I mean, yeah, biggest donor. Larry Ellison is Friends of the IDF's biggest donor. What gives?
focuses on young people and young Americans, and I can't say that I'm not worried about the effect that it has. How do you combat this? It's hard because democratic countries don't have the ability to fight this, this bot war and with the same means. We are accountable. We're transparent. It's not so simple. But I think you'll see a correlation between the penetration of certain social media and the decline in patriotic American feelings and support for Israel.
Okay.
It's something we have to deal with. But am I worried about it? Look, I think that our alliance is not merely based on common interests. I think it's based on common values. And as long as we stick to those common values, freedom, the right of every individual to live and not be slaughtered by fanatics.
Yeah. Great. Talk about how you got to hold people accountable for anti-Israel sentiment more. That seems good. Seems like good policy, good politics, good propaganda.
People should have free choice in their lives.
Okay.
And of course, to have our common heritage, which has brought so much to the world. I think as long as we have that, our alliance will be fine.
We'll have to leave it there.
The most important thing that I can say, Jackie, in closing, is that I want to wish you and the people of America a happy 4th of July. 250 years of freedom, and frankly, 250 years of defending freedom. America has been the stellar force in this century and in the past one, in modern times. If you hadn't had America, you'd have Nazi totalitarianism, Stalin totalitarianism, and others. And I think...
What do you mean Stalin totalitarianism? Big dog. Stalin died decades prior to the dissolution of the USSR. This you dog? What is this? Every Mexican household has at least one person showing up dressed like this today? Yeah, that is me.
America has been a great force for good. That doesn't mean that it's perfect. Israel is not perfect either.
Okay.
But it has been a force for immense good. And our alliance has been a terrific one.
Yeah. Israel is the most fake friend country of all time, by the way, because for two reasons. One, Stalin, more impactful in liberating the camps than the Western flank was. Okay, that's number one. Number two, Stalin, more impactful in the development of the Israeli nation state by way of arms trafficking, sending arms to the Czech Republic, only to get sent to Israel. Now, of course, they changed their mentality fairly quickly, but kind of crazy that he forgot about Big S. He put Big S up there like Joe Brandon. Norway goal. Yeah, I am noticing that this was not a very friendly interview. Interesting.
And it'll continue.
Damn, this guy's good.